things first. So hold on a minute. I'm gonna share my screen, but I want to get a little bit organized here. Yeah, I did not do as well as you did. So you got a small profit. I played a lot more in the Millie Maker, and it was just one of those days. I ended up playing. Well, we'll go over, but I ended up playing way too much Stafford. This is not Stafford. Who did I say? Way too much Marvin Jones. Way too much Duke Johnson. So it was kind of a disaster. But let's pull it up and we'll see what it is.
Yeah, it looks like my initial intro didn't seem to record at first, but we are just doing a quick lineup review show, guys. For some reason, it hiccuped a little bit. But we're going to pull up sheets of stuff, and then we'll talk a little bit about some of the things we got right, some of the things we got wrong.
Okay.
Let's talk about 2+2.
So first of all, the 2+2 thing, again, I just needed to kind of hang on to make the playoffs. I needed to beat I needed to either lose to Stampede by less than 20, which didn't happen. He destroyed me. Or I needed to lose to Calderon by less than 30, and I beat him outright. But it's annoying when after the first game he's got Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
At 30, and then I see what he's got in the late games. I see him with freaking Wilson and Metcalf all freaking stacked up. Like, oh my God, like kill me immediately. And then I see the Eagles start off with like freaking just shutting down the Saints. But fortunately, the Seattle blew them out, so they didn't have to like do anything in the second half. And I think Wilson was benched in the fourth quarter, which was always nice. But this guy Stampede, he's a freaking killer. He needed to kind of hang on to bigger plays. He didn't care about the playoffs. Look at this lineup. No Adams, no chalk anything. Goes with Jonathan Taylor, and
that was my guy. That was the one thing I really got right this week.
Yeah, this was kill. So he killed everybody. So he's gonna be out for blood in the playoffs. But so I did make the playoffs. So let's just look at when I ended up beating my cash lineup. There are some things I wasn't getting away from. I was using Rodgers and Adams for sure. I was using the Cowboys for sure, and I talked myself into the Duke Johnson McKissick running back combination, just to basically go chalky at running back and not pay that much. Mm-hmm. And I knew you probably would have talked me out of it, but I couldn't resist the Robbie Anderson at that price. So what I was down to what I thought was an interesting 2x2 left. One was going to be Eckler and Perryman, or the other one when Gaskin was ruled out, I was going to go to DeAndre Washington with Thielen. Mm-hmm. And I was going back and forth with that one, and I asked Bob what he thought, and I think that he leaned to the Eckler thing. But he and I were on the same page. You're like, I think I like the Eckler thing, even though I don't even like Eckler as a play. I'm like, yeah, I kind of agree with you. I don't really like Eckler too much as a play either. But in this particular format, I think I kind of had to. And thankfully, this all got there just, well enough, at 144.
Yeah, it's actually, it's pretty solid. It makes a lot of sense to me. Most of the guys use. I wasn't, me, I'm not as big on Robbie Anderson, although it was a good spot yesterday. So he was the one guy I wouldn't have had as much of. Like most people, I got very much hurt by the Jets. If I'd never heard of the thing about Jay Crowder being out, I probably wouldn't have played it as, Oh,
yeah.
I ended up with literally like 40% of each of Perriman and Berrios. And it's just really hard to win when you do that. You know what I mean? And it wasn't exactly all the good pivots were in the earlier games. You had Gallup you could use, although he didn't end up doing much. And then the receiver from Houston was 3,800 or 3,900 also. But you just didn't really have any options if you didn't play if you played those guys pretty much everywhere. So kind of hamstrung myself a little bit there. And also I thought that the Jets would play a little bit better against the worst passing defense in football in the week. So that was my big mistake. But
so we'll do one more bit of good news, and then we'll go on to the bad news. So the other good news is I did do okay in the in this 3 max thing. I finished like 118th. This was a pretty good lineup. I stacked Ryan up with Gage and Ridley. Mm-hmm. I had Hawkinson. I didn't play Devontae in this one. And I went, oh man, if they stayed in the game, I got a 3.5% Chris Carson, and they benched him in the fourth quarter also. And you never know if he was in there to run it up, whatever. I had Montgomery, and then so this all was really good. I got to overtime in that Atlanta game, which just really one play away from happening. Who knows? Maybe these guys kind of run it up a little bit. But,
yeah, it could have been something. And I like the lineup a lot. The thing that's interesting about the Ryan thing is that I think we almost start having to have to start treating his receivers separate from him, because we've seen 3 times this year Russell Gage throw a touchdown pass, and we had Matt Ryan for 4 games at one point didn't throw a touchdown pass for a period. So I'm sort of like that. Just, I played Ryan too. I played 2 in the 500, and he was one of my quarterbacks. Herbert was my other one.
Oh, really? Okay.
I did end up playing him because I liked the price. You know, it seemed ridiculous. And I felt like that game had, you know, some possibilities, even though it didn't quite go off the way I wanted it to. I loved Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was, I think, my highest owned player by the end of the week. So I really wanted to get a lot of that. But the other thing that I thought was interesting is there were so many options yesterday and so many different things and so many different takes. And I felt like I was being inundated with just different ideas and different possible plays and all this stuff. And I want to go back to this just because I think it's important. When that happens, I really think we just play the Chiefs. I don't understand what we're doing. I feel like some of the time I'm like, what am I even doing? Why am I trying to get creative? You know what I mean? Sure, they may not win you every week, but they're going to come close to it every week. And I actually, what I got on too late was I got onto the Tua part of it. Unfortunately, all the guys you could use Tua with got hurt. Literally 5 receivers got hurt in that game, including Gesicki, who was having a monster game. So that ended up hurting me because I think Tua was the highest scoring quarterback this week. And I think we'll see a lot more weeks like that in the future. So I want to play the Chiefs. I want to play the teams against them. I think that's just what going forward, when I'm confused like that and I don't have a strong feeling about it, you know, other than a few plays, I think I'm just going to go Chiefs.
The other thing I would like to say is, and this is going to be the tilt, right? Listen, and you're going to see this all during the course of the day, all right? People looking at these top lineups saying, oh, I can see how you could play this. Well, it's a bunch of freaking BS, okay? Like, sometimes the top lineups just happen to freaking get there. You know what I mean? And I don't want to go backwards and say, oh, yeah, you know, Carr, you know, single stacked with Nelson Aguilar, of course. I mean, well, what else are you going to do? And run it back with nobody, of course. And yeah, we'll go double tight end with Eifert and Gesicki. I mean, certainly seems to make sense. And you know, and let's stack Derrick Henry and Antonio Brown together. Excuse me, and not Antonio Brown and AJ Brown together in the same lineup, because those two have to get there together. I mean, this whole thing is a joke, you know. So
no,
I'm not taking it away from him. You know what I mean? No. $1 million, it's all his. But I just don't want to hear people come on and just say, okay, if you want to learn, this is how to win. This is how you do. I mean, some of these are just, oh, so this is tilt. Okay. I just want to show you before we.
I played some of them. I had him on my afternoon slate, which I almost won the afternoon slate.
This is tilt, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I lost my season long in the playoffs, and my last decision. Remember, I said, you know,
Jones and Hilton.
Yeah, that was it. That was the difference.
Oh man,
I couldn't do it, but still, it was. Oh my god, it's just freaking annoying.
That's really rough.
Anyways, so let's go into the Millie Maker. So here, this is unfortunately the bad news that you got to own. So I played 58 lineups, which is probably, I mean, it's like easily more than I played. You know, maybe that one time when it was $10. I played like 50 of them or something like that. But even that wasn't 58. I played 50. I really wanted to get a lot of different combinations. I really wanted to do anything. And then I just ended up going freaking ballistic. I ended up, like I said, with my highest owned player being Marvin Jones. I just felt as though that if I was going to play Devontae Adams, I would want the run back. And so I played Marvin Jones, and there you have it.
But I don't think that was just my 2 cents on that one. I actually think that a lot of really smart people I know were really high on Marvin Jones.
I'm not saying it was bad or whatever, but this is what happened, right? So it was 43% of that. Then I played 27% of Giovanni Bernard, who got benched after the first series after fumbling. Thank you very much. I was onto something with Russell Gage at 37%. Yeah. Mr. Quarterback, right?
Yeah, he throws more touchdowns than Matt Ryan.
But you know, 29% Duke Johnson ain't gonna do it. And obviously, I'm pretty sure it was 0% Derrick Henry. So
you went for the full Henry fade. It's gonna be tough.
So yeah, yeah, indeed. So like I said, I didn't decide whether I was going to go Henry and Cook. I think I ended up just going neither. Let me just see. Yeah. Oh no, there he is. I had him down at 12%. I had him somewhere. Hold on. Yeah. So I had him at 12%. But it's kind of tough to win like that. and that's really it. I made some bad construction, some bad decisions. I got a little unlucky. I would say unlucky with Bernard, I guess. But aside from that, just one of those days. Stafford getting pulled out, that didn't help. But yeah, that's about the size of it.
Yeah.
How'd y'all make out today?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, it's funny. I played about 45 lineups in there, but I did have the right thing where I went way heavy on Henry. I did get some of that stuff right. I played Montgomery like 30%, so that was good. Not great enough, but solid. I had Keenan Allen everywhere who had a solid game, but not what he would have had. He got hurt late in that game. A lot of stuff like that. But I didn't have any of these. I didn't really have a full sweat except for my afternoon slate, which I'll just go through the lineup real quick. What shocked me was that's Alvin Kamara. I understand the situation's different. I understand that I'm going to keep riding higher on Kamara than everybody else is. But when you have a 6-game afternoon slate, and there was some good options, but it wasn't like there was like endless options. So I was really, really sort of surprised that Alvin Kamara was 5% owned on the afternoon slate only. And he almost did it for me. I mean, he was right there. Looked like he was going to have a huge game, and he didn't quite make it. But that was probably would have been a differentiator. I played T.Y. Hilton in that lineup. That lineup actually, I think, scored a lot more than any of my full season, full game lineups. Let's see who I had.
Okay, so you and I are going to have to talk here because this is your thing, and you had 37 lineups, cash for 9 for -450, and you had your highest owned player was Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
So
I had Perriman and what's it called a bunch Berrios. Yeah. I had a ton of Swift, but he was fine. No, I didn't have a ton of Swift. I'm sorry, I don't have
McKissick. McKissick was.
Oh, that's my millionaire one. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at a different thing.
Yeah. Sorry.
What did I end up with McKissick in the millionaire? 20%. Yeah, I spread out much more in the millionaire. I think by the end of it because there was so many things going different ways towards the end. So I honestly feel like the millionaire lineups were not my. I mean, look, you're trying to win a tournament that's so so far out there.
Dude, this is so weird. I can totally tell you script this. So check this out. This is like so. This is.
I didn't script.
But this is no. When I script, I mean like you indicate what kind of percentages you want, right, in your thing. Yeah. Well, because look at this. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like look at like the right column ownership. Everybody, look at Bobby's nice 26 smoothing down to 3. Whatever it is, and then like once again you. Hold on. You go back to mine. Hold on. See, his was 26, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all the way down to 3. Mm-hmm. And we'll go back real quick. Hold on. Lineup study, NFL, and hold on. Analyze. For those of you who don't know how to do this.
It's pretty cool features.
Yeah. And then we'll do this. And then search for NBA. Then, so like mine, on the other hand, is like all I don't know. Like mine's.
I like yours. I actually think that on most weeks I would want like 5 or 6 or at least guys who are 30% or more. This was a very, very open, free week. I felt like so it was much more spread out. But in my overall ownerships, it's interesting because I really did. I did on my other tournaments keep it more to a core. Like I had. I played 6 in the 150, and I think I had Henry in 3 of those 6, and Taylor in a few of them, and at least 2 of them. But just really, I mean, yeah, it's. I think I was a little too spread out. That's one thing I could probably correct about my football stuff is being too spread out. I feel like it's a sport that you want to do that more, and baseball being another one. But in basketball, for example, like I'll have when I do this script, I'll have 4 or 5 guys at 70%. You know what I mean? Like it's a very different thing. Than football. I'm actually just really excited about that basketball. What are you doing over here, Sheets?
No, I'm just looking at different lineups and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what have we learned?
Not our best. We'll do a better review when we win the showdown slate tonight.
Yeah.
We'll have more to go on, but yeah, my afternoon lineup was pretty close to the nuts-ish, but didn't quite make it. I had Rodgers to. I actually had Rodgers to Tanya, and I faded Devontae Adams, but I got the same points from T.Y. Hilton and Keenan Allen.
And is this one the afternoon rush? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and then I played Swift, who was only 9% owned. But what was interesting to me is that Hilton was 11% owned, Kamara was 6% owned in the big one, but 5% in the smaller tournament. On the short slate, I just was like, this is too much to pass up. And Kamara could have easily had a much, much bigger game than he even ended up having. But, you know, Jonathan Taylor was 25. I had nobody. The only guy I had who was chalky at all was really Perriman in that lineup. So I really liked I wish I would have played a little more in the afternoon because I feel like a few tweaks away, I could have probably gotten there.
So this is the one lineup in the afternoon rush.
Yeah. This is the 333.
Oh, is that what this one is? Okay.
The one I finished 12th in the 333. But I also threw it in the rush, I'm sure. Okay. And I didn't stick with my guy Ayuk, which really bothers me because I always talk him up, and I thought maybe, you know, this week wasn't the right week to get him, but I could have easily used him and won the second, you know, the afternoon slate.
Yep.
Anyway, all right.
All right. Well, we'll get him next week. Right. Oh, we'll get him tonight.
We'll get him tonight. Well, are you ready? You want to do a quick one after this?
No, we'll do a long one after this.
All right, let's do a long one. All right, sounds good to me. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for checking us out. And as always, please like and subscribe. And we'll be back with you shortly with a Monday Night Showdown